Manchester United last night, the aftermath is here and everybody is piling on, it would seem. The panic, the worry, the concern amongst all Manchester United fans. And we're going to discuss it this morning. We're going to break down what happened last night. I think what we have to do is just accept that, like Michael Carrick said, we cannot forget where we have come from and what we have done so far in the first 2 months of his tenure at Manchester United. And he is dead right on that. But you cannot convince this fan base that they didn't see worrying signs that we have seen several times before with that side last night. It's how you balance it out. And I think it all comes down now to, I feel, what happens next. Are we going to get the reaction we want? Are we going to get the same as what we had before with Manchester United? There is a massive 2 months of football coming up for this football club, and there is a lot riding on it as well. Last night, we took a big step backwards in a lot of people's eyes. Some would look at the positive and say that we are 9 games to go and we are in third. And I would have snatched your hand off to be in that position come the turn of the year. I really would. We're well and truly in this and we're in this fight. It is just going to be a lot harder than what we hoped it might be and what we hoped this football team was going to give us from now until the end of the season. The warning signs have been there. They've been creeping back in. And I think that was the general consensus amongst most of what I read and listened to last night after the game. I went and took myself to bed last night straight away. I thought, I'm not even going to concern myself with what was going on amongst the Man United fan base and everyone arguing amongst each other. Who was at fault? Who was the worst player? Where the problem really lies? The problem lies in what happened in that game last night and what Michael Carrick had at his disposal. And that's, for us as fans, is what we have to accept. We cannot, and I just want to start this off by saying, we cannot be going in on Michael Carrick. I've seen many fans going in and saying Michael Carrick got that wrong last night. What is he supposed to do? How is he supposed to change that and get more out of what we had there on that pitch? The players bottled it. That's what it was. The players' arses fell out and Michael Carrick's not at fault for that. He can only put that team out there and give them instruction. If they can't carry it out and they get done by 10 man, a 10-man Newcastle side, then that's on the players. I think what you're looking at there is, I've seen a few people talking about this. I mentioned it last night as well. In the first 2 substitutes being Manuel Ugarte and Malacia. And that's what Manchester United were doing when we were playing against 10-man Newcastle, needing to get a win, or trying to go for the win. We brought them players on. He didn't really have a choice. There was an injury to Mazraoui, and Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo were on their asses. They were completely beaten. They were dead. The only option we had in the end was bringing Xerxes on for Mainoo and dropping Bruno back into that horrible number 8 position or that number 6 position where we've not liked him under Ruben Amorim. That's the squad depth. That's all that is. The mentality is my biggest concern, and my mentality problems within this Manchester United squad is where I would start to worry more than anything else. That's the bigger problem that we've got to deal with. That's a huge issue at this football club. And last night, Michael Carrick talking about not forgetting where we've come from and what we've accomplished so far, or what we've achieved in getting ourselves into this position where we are feeling really disappointed we haven't taken advantage and gone further clear in third position. We just need to have that at the back of our minds a little bit in saying that United are still third. We are 3 points clear of Chelsea and Liverpool and level on points with Aston Villa. And we are well and truly in this Champions League race. It's just the signs last night and the worrying signs and the bigger problem at United within this team, and the mentality of this team was there for everybody to see. And that was where I started to have a little bit, not so much panic, but acceptance that we were beaten by a better side last night, and anger that the better side had 10 men, were in horrible form, we were at the worst time ever under Eddie Howe, and that was our best chance to beat Newcastle at St James's Park in how many years? We didn't take advantage of it. That's the angry bit. The fact that the better team with 10 men, with big players missing, and a very weakened Newcastle side. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable at that point. And the United players have to take responsibility for that. They do. The concerns throughout individual performances are there for everyone to see. We're going to discuss them this morning. We're going to get into it and get your comments in on everything that you've seen last night and what was probably more concerning for you than anything else. Because look, we can try and praise up what we've done before. That's fair enough, and we will do. And we're not going to get completely carried away. But if we're just analysing what happened last night, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. It was absolutely shocking. It was It was a dreadful performance. I was going to swear first thing in the morning then. But I'm not allowing this team to get me down to that level and get me to that point again. Look, I can cling on to positives. But I know what I watched, and I always say it, and I always back myself with this all the time, as you know on this channel. The eye test is the ultimate test, and it never lies. It never lies. And last night, the problems were there to see. We are a very, very slow team. We cannot play a high line, and the gaps that Newcastle found in our midfield, yet again, were there for everyone to see. We can't fix this at the moment, unless Michael Carrick wants to change shape. Now, Michael Carrick, in his first 7 games for Manchester United, has won 6 and drawn 1. So why should Michael Carrick change his shape when we know exactly how that works for us and what it's got us so far? Some people could argue on that point, well, maybe change it in game, maybe change that shape, because your midfield too was sinking and sinking fast last night. I can understand that argument. I get it. But it all comes down to, again, Manchester United, the decision makers at this football club, and what they have to do this summer is let go of the players that keep on letting us down. Not through their choice, just through their circumstances and how their careers have gone. Lisandro Martinez, Mason Mount, the players that just aren't ever there for us. I made a video the other day and I said this is a big concern. This is a big worry. Last night proved why that was a big worry. You had 2 players there that could have ultimately stepped into that midfield, but they are never, ever available, and they cannot be relied upon. And you will always get games like that last night where Carrick has to look on his bench and say, oh my God, I've got to bring on Dalot, Agate and Malacia to try and see out a game against a 10-man weakened Newcastle side. That is the biggest concern of all. And Malacia, oh my God, there's a man that looks like he's not kicked a ball for a long time when he came on last night. I'm not even going to go in on Dalot. It's pointless. You know what I'm going to say. You all know how good he is. And that's all there is. He's just going to keep doing the same thing, and he's lived a life at Manchester United for the last 8 years off it. Mazraoui was disappointing last night for me. I thought he was going to have a better game than that. Some of his decision-making last night, look, he's normally good, and he is, I think, more consistent. But when he has a bad game, he has a bad game. You have to say it. Everyone can have a bad game of football. And last night, unfortunately, a few of them all had a bad game. I thought Mbeumo was awful last night. Ahmad did nothing when he came on. Sesko was left wandering around up front on his own because no one could get the ball to him. Bruno had his moments in the game, but couldn't control the game, which he should have. And being the captain, should have grabbed a hold of that by the scruff of the neck and seen it through. Cunha was our best forward, in my opinion. I've said the midfield, the defence, centre-backs did as much as they could. Shaw and Maguire coming back from illness maybe didn't help, but I thought Maguire was okay last night. Yoro was solid enough in there, but we needed to freshen it up, and we can't freshen it up. Well, we did, and we seen the drop-off in quality. It's fighting the battle of quality that's knackered and isn't really fit enough to play this many games against fitness that just doesn't have the quality. And that's what we seen last night. And Newcastle's midfield, even without Bruno Guimaraes last night, absolutely battered us. They did. They won the fight last night, and no one can say that they didn't. It was a poor performance for Manchester United, and we're licking wounds this morning, unfortunately, hoping that we get the bounce back and hoping that we can actually recover from this. It's all about Aston Villa now. That game has got a lot riding on it. I said to my brother this morning, who messaged me, what do you think about that last night? As I said, there's only Manchester United, I think, out of the teams in that top fight there for the Champions League. There's only Manchester United that could make you feel like the first 7 games didn't exist in one game of football. That's how I summarised it. In watching one game, because of what we've seen before over the last few years. And that's the only reason. And I'm not taking anything away from what we have done. And I will always hold that. And I've seen enough that convinces me that we're going to make top 4 still. I'm not allowing last night to completely batter me from pillar to post. But you can't help how you feel. And last night, it did feel that way. Only Manchester United could undo 7 games in one game. And that's what they did last night. And ultimately, it's now up to Carrick and Hollands, Woodgate, Fabinho and Evans and that team that we've been praising up to take a little bit of critique, take a little bit of criticism and try and come back stronger against Aston Villa. Because if we beat Aston Villa, all is pretty much forgiven, and we're back looking at this as a blip and not the start of a horrible trend, which we are all in the back of our minds worrying about could happen with Manchester United. And that, I think, is where we are now. It's the fighting of both. It's like a 50-50 fight right now. And we always know this happens, don't it? It's like one negative review outweighs 10 good ones. And that's the fact in every walk of life. It takes 10 good reviews to outweigh one bad one. And when you have an awful game like that, you kind of forget a little bit about the 7 that came before, where we'd picked up 19 points from 22 available. It's a fantastic run, and we've done great this year. And that's why we're still third now. The point that I made about beating Palace and beating Everton and giving ourselves this buffer because we've got tougher games to come, well, that was proven more than ever last night, because United lost in a horrible performance, but we're still third in the league. We're still there. You have to beat the run-of-the-mill sides. And unfortunately for Manchester United, we've come up against a backs to the wall, just go out there, nothing to lose, Newcastle moments, under the floodlights. Don't get me wrong, if Manchester United played Newcastle at weekend, in the game at weekend, I thought we probably would have got a result. It sounds stupid me saying this, but Newcastle being the last game and the midweek game on a double game week away at St James's Park, even with 10 men, was too much for Manchester United. So you've got to start asking the obvious questions now about Manchester United's fitness, about Manchester United's mentality, and whether they've got enough to sit on this for 2 weeks and not drop into that lull again, because we did this and we just about got away with it with Everton last time. Manchester United have got a 2-week break. In a few weeks, we've got a 3-week break before we play again. This type of season cannot continue at this football club. The only hope that I've got is that some of these players get a rest now and they can come back and beat Aston Villa and then beat Bournemouth, because then we've got a hell of a break from that. We've got 2 massive games coming up in Villa and Bournemouth. Difficult games as well. Both teams in the top 10, one right in and amongst it. And if we can beat the teams in and around us, we've always got a chance. I said this before. When we had the results that we've had, looking at what we need to get this season to get Champions League, all Manchester United have to do is win their home games. Now, Aston Villa becomes absolutely crucial. It's vital that Manchester United get the result at home. If we win our home games, we make Champions League football. Because we beat Villa, we drop them back. We'll beat Liverpool, we'll keep them underneath us as well. We need to pick up the odd result away from home, maybe, just to seal the deal. But we've got 5 games at home left. If we win them 5 games, 15 points, that puts us on 66. That got Champions League last season, and that's the projected mark to make Champions League this season. You've just got to win your home games. Pick up the odd point here and there. Don't lose them away from home. And that's what Manchester United need to do now. It's about what happens next rather than, well, what happens next will determine whether what we fear has happened before is going to come back again or whether it is just a blip right now. Let's get into some of the comments and let's see what you're all saying on this one. I want to get the debate going on this. Please give the video a like. I know it's a bit downbeat. I know we're all a little bit miserable this morning and we've got to sit on 2 weeks with no football now again. But we're here and we're backing each other up here. We're getting each other through this and we will suffer together as a fan base again. Yes, after a poor game, but we can actually look back on moments over the last couple of months and try and pick ourselves back up a little bit again, I would say. Paul says, they look knackered. At time to stop being nice to the players and get them on the training pitch and work hard on fitness. Stop giving them days off. And no wonder they want Carrick to stay. See, this is the sort of things that are going to start coming out. The doubts about Carrick being too soft now. Jobs for the boys mentality with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You're going to get all of these conversations. I'm not saying Paul's wrong, by the way, but there was a clear lack of fitness. And Paul's right. We are struggling. We are not fit enough. Is there a soft line in there? Well, it's worked for 7 games and it's failed on the 8th. So can we allow one game to say that this method is not working? Or do we look at the previous 7? Which way do you want to go? It's a half full or half empty kind of conversation right now, isn't it? Because it was demoralising last night. Before we lay into Carrick, name me who we signed in the window. Like John said there, Carrick's had no backing. He's got no squad depth. I keep mentioning this. Players are letting him down with injury that have always let us down, that the club haven't got rid of. And the conversation about Mason Mount and Lisandro Martinez, new contract, selling the players, whatever this summer. I honestly, right now, I look at it and games last night just remind me about what is going to come every single season with them. And it's a harsh line, it's a hard line, but someone's got to make them big calls and someone's got to make a decision on what Manchester United are going to do going forward. Because if we keep allowing these players to just stay, because for a couple of months in a season they play brilliant, but then we lose them again for crucial games. And when you look at this now, look, like Martinez has missed Everton, Crystal Palace and Newcastle now. The 3 big games. And Mason Mount, well, I give up. I completely give up. The recruitment didn't come in January, and obviously Michael Carrick is working with what he's got. He's put Cobby in and given him his chance, and Cobby is blown out. Cobby's blown a gasket. He really has. He was so lethargic and slow. I said it, and I picked up on it in that Crystal Palace game. You compare Cobby Mainoo's movement and yards in the Crystal Palace game to what he did against Manchester City, against Arsenal, where he was on the pitch, ready to go, fit. He's had a few games now, and it proves that Manchester United need a bigger squad. Don't want to necessarily go in on Cobby alone on this here. He's only capable of what he's capable of. And if his fitness doesn't take him to play in 90 minutes consistently in one game a week, then that's just him. That's Cobby Mainoo. He can start game after game after game, but if you need to bring him off after 60 minutes, you just need the quality there to replace him with, which we haven't got. So it's not like I don't think Cobby Mainoo is good enough. His fitness is a concern for me, but that's part of having a rotating squad, the squad that we just don't have. And Man Malagate last night, as much as I love his effort and his energy and what he did bring was a bit more fitness to our team, his quality is just there for everyone to see. Well, it's not there, is it? And everyone can see that. It's probably the better way of putting it. And unfortunately, we are going to have to deal with that now for the last 9 games of the season. Have we got enough in the tank? The fact that we're never going to have this conversation again about 2 games a week might get us over the line. But what it is doing also is highlighting the problem that the squad is piss poor when it comes to depth. And that's what needs addressing. We might just get away with this because we haven't got any other football. We have to suffer as a fan base because we're not watching any football. And it is miserable, isn't it? Not having these games, the fixtures that were announced last night, the Monday night fixtures, the Friday night fixtures, Saturday night fixtures. It seems like we're just being thrown all over the place at the moment, Manchester United, like we're not relevant at all, just being used to fill gaps in the TV schedules. And we're all over the place. It's such a strange season. I just want it over now. Honestly, I've never wanted the season to end like this. And it's not because I've not seen encouragement. I just don't like the inconsistencies of the schedule. I just don't like the fact that we're not in European football. I don't like the way that the squad are being, I feel, it's like being put into that moment where it's okay, like a false sense of security. You get a couple of wins, you have a couple of weeks off, and you've just dropped down again thinking, and sorry, it's hard for me to explain what I mean here with this, but it's like they don't come back ready. If you're playing game after game after game, then your match sharpness is there. If you go away for 2 weeks, you naturally, and I don't care what they say, they can go and train as much as they want, you naturally drop off. And that's the concern coming back against Aston Villa. I don't know if we're going to be in a better place or Villa are. I looked at the schedule and I thought Aston Villa have got a European game before they play us at Old Trafford. They're going to be knackered. But Aston Villa are also out the FA Cup this week. So effectively, this might actually benefit Aston Villa now because they've got this weekend off and then they play Europa League next week before they play us. So their match sharpness is going to be better than ours. And that's the concern I've got with this season and why I want it over. It's a mess. It's a mess and it's all over the place. And it's horrible to watch and get into. Let's get some more comments in on this and what happened last night. You're bigger concerned. Back down to earth like we ever left. Good morning, Reds, says Block. Probably unfair to pick him out as they were all dreadful last night. But please let this be the final season of Dalot, please. Look, honestly, I lose it with Dalot every single game. I'm not going to pinpoint him again. You all seen what he did when he came on. And then moments of just intelligence, I think, is how I would look at them moments. He's never going to be good enough to take Manchester United where we need to go. He's a reserve defender at best. And even when he came on last night, he proved that he probably isn't good enough for that in that one game. Look, I think with better players in the squad, Manchester United go forward, and we're not talking about Dalot that much. That's if he's here or if he isn't. Whichever way it is, we have got a problem with Dalot because he simply just isn't good enough. And there's a few players. It takes a little bit of time to get rid of the players, and obviously with recruitment changing now, I think we are going to see this coming forward, and we are going to see a change at Manchester United, but it's still going to take a bit more time yet. Mike in the chat says, you should be able to punch the likes of Dalot. He is an idiot, always grabbing players. He is a liability. Our 15-year-olds has scored 19 goals this season, better than Messi. That's in under-18s, so I'm taking it you're talking about JJ Gabriel. We can't even bring that conversation up. The Dalot side of things definitely is a concern. That definitely is a worry for Manchester United fans. 100% agree with that. Keep them likes coming in, everybody. Thank you so much again for everyone who has. They must be knackered. Think Carrick needs to give them the next 10 days off before the Villa game. Recharge the batteries. Sarcasm. I love it. I love it, mate. Keep them comments coming in, everybody, please. I don't know why. Seems to be a little bit slow on the old comment thing on YouTube this morning. Sorry, everyone. Just picking it up again now. I don't agree with people going in on Malacia the way they were as well. Okay, he's not great, but what do people expect from him when he never plays? No game time, no match fitness, no confidence. I just said with Malacia, I said, look, he's playing like he's not played for 10 months. Which is the truth. It is the truth. And again, he should not be in this squad. That's not Michael Carrick's fault. It's not Malacia's fault, really. He can only try and offer himself to clubs that he can. And look, if he's stuck at Manchester United and we're running out of fullbacks, unfortunately, that has to happen. We had two players in that defence last night that were sick, that were coming back from an illness. And inevitably, in the end, you thought one of Shaw or Maguire was going to come off that pitch. Let's see what we've got in here. Dalot is the biggest dum-dum to play for us, says Stu. How was Malacia even on the bench? He's garbage, symbolic of the lack of backing by the owners. Yeah, I don't actually think that it's people having a go at Malacia. I think they're naturally just lashing out because it was bad. I think with him, I think the problem we've got is that there isn't anybody else there. And it just goes to show how poor the club has been run over the last few years. More than that, actually. Malacia is gone at the end of this season. And again, it all comes down to what Manchester United do in the summer, doesn't it? Donnell says, get rid of Shaw, Dalot, Mason Mount, Agate, Malacia. They showed they're not good enough for Manchester United. Gary says, Mount, fragile, handle with care. He also too weak. What a flop. Lots of people having discussions and debates in there. Love it. Keep it going, everybody. Say it's Ineos' fault for having no ambition in January and basically writing off the season. No, I don't think so, Clinton. I don't think so at all. Do we want to be bringing players in like Dalot, like Malacia, like the ones we've been talking about that aren't good enough, Agate? Because that's what was available in January. If teams are not going to sell their players, then Manchester United haven't got anyone to buy. They didn't buy anyone in January because there wasn't anyone available that was going to make the team better. What's the point in filling the squad with players that we've already got, is what I would say on that. So look, they went for Semenyo, who would have improved this team massively. A Semenyo-type player brings us into, like what Romano was saying last night as well, when he was talking about Manchester United going into the transfer window and going for a winger. I think it's quite clear that's going to happen now. They need a different option going forward, Manchester United, and they want that other option. Semenyo would have been perfect for Manchester United. Proving again vital for Manchester City last night, and a good signing that he's been so far. That Prem-proven quality, that is gold in the Premier League. It really is the ultimate, I think, going into this transfer window now coming up. It's going to be a big one because United need to make them types of signings. They need to fill that squad with quality. I'm not letting Ineos off, by the way, with this. I think the debacle with Ruben Amorim and everything like that is where they have gone completely wrong. But they will be under pressure this summer. They're under massive pressure this summer. If they don't make the right signings and they don't get enough, then we are going to struggle next season. Manchester United right now, just to put it in perspective, when it comes to recruitment, when it comes to squad depth and everything like that, Manchester United right now cannot handle, with this current squad, a 40-game season. This has been proven by not being able to play double game weeks. The drop-off is there. Double game week, West Ham, points dropped. Double game week, Newcastle, points dropped. Can you imagine this squad with European football? This is the best thing to come from this. If we scrape Champions League, it's a bloody miracle. And it's the best thing that could happen to Manchester United. And everyone who has got an issue, everyone who's got an issue with Ineos will be there waiting for their pound of flesh, because if they don't invest the right money into this squad come the summer transfer window, then they are going to be fully at fault for what happens next year, which will be a complete drop-off, because we can't handle just Premier League football through the basis of for this season. It's been proven we can't play 2 games a week. That's been there, ever present all the way through this season. This squad isn't big enough for that. The clear signs there. The squad is good, and the players in the starting 11 very, very good, and it's got us to where we are now under Carrick, and that's fantastic. But the good thing about it, in a way, if you want to spin it, is that Man United's squad is nowhere near strong enough to compete on all fronts. And competing on all fronts next season is having a good Champions League campaign, or good Europa League campaign, of whatever we qualify for. I have to say it, because obviously the signs were there last night that this is going to be a tough battle to the end. Still think we can do it. So let's just say a good Champions League campaign and staying in the top 4. That's what happens. That's what's needed next season. Can you imagine Manchester United with an extra 10 games already in midweeks playing the way that we are now with this squad? I said it before. I said it. If United had European football, if we had double game weeks, right now we would be nowhere near where we are in this league table. Nowhere near, because they're not good. The squad's not good enough for it. That's not the players' faults that are playing week in, week out. Everybody gets a chance to rotate in them other teams. Look at Aston Villa with a few injuries now. They've lost Tielemans. They've lost McGinn. They cannot buy a win. They are horrendous right now. They haven't got the squad to compete in Europe and in the league. It's proven with Villa. It's proven the same with Man United. Every time a double game week comes, there's a massive drop-off. And that's there for everybody to see. Chelsea have got a massive squad, but they've struggled just about coming through. I don't think Liverpool's squad is that big, and they're struggling. Double game weeks, they're struggling to get through. The only teams that really have got big enough squads, you could say, in terms of size and quality, are Man City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. And if you want to be in the Champions League, there's only one spot left there to go for in that top 4. You have to get a squad that matches with theirs. That's the only way you're consistent. And Manchester United generate more revenues than anyone. If they don't spend the money that's necessary this summer, you're going to get these sorts of nights and these sorts of weekends throughout the season next season. And it is very, very worrying. It's not going to work. You need, I'm going to say it again, I said 6 players need to come in. I would maybe push it to 7 at this point, just to give us the strength in depth and give the likes of Mainu a rest. Get better quality than Agate. Give us the chance to have somebody else come on up front. Give Ryan Mbeumo a rest when we need to. Because Manchester United are going into cup finals week in, week out. Everyone wants to knock Manchester United down. It's just naturally there whenever United play anyone. And these players can't do it. They've proved they can't do it. But if you can give them a bit of rotation and rest, maybe they can handle it a bit more. Maybe they could, if they had that break, or they could make that substitution when was necessary. And I look, that's what last night was for me. And no one's going to convince me that that wasn't coming, because it was. And it's how we react to it now. It's, can we get that bounce back against Villa and forget about the Newcastle game? Because we beat Villa, we're 3rd with 8 games to go. We're still going. Then we've got the bigger games coming up. This is what we have to do now. Win them home games. Pick up the draw here and there away from home. United will make top 4. They will. Can't play like we played last night, though. Oh, my God. We cannot do it. Just on the transfer news as well, by the way, Romano was talking last night about Manchester United heavily scouting Yan Diomande. It does look like Manchester United are going to be all in on Diomande this summer. The noises keep on growing right now, and it is going to be a busy summer, as we know, and we are going to be getting a wing off. It just looks destined. It looks like it's definitely going to happen now. And I think with Xerxes leaving as well, Rashford off the books, I think that's where Man United are looking. Ugarte and Casemiro will be out. But Romano said in his video yesterday, and this is the concerning thing for me, Manchester United are definitely going for one, maybe two midfielders. I'm like, well, that's not going to work, is it? We cannot live next season off bringing one or two midfielders in. Ugarte's gone. Casemiro is gone. Like, look, even if Ugarte stayed, he's not good enough to compete at Champions League level. This is why he's been moved from pillar to post. If United only bring in two midfielders next season, I'm worried. I'll say that. And them two midfielders can be the best of the best. And it might keep us afloat, but I'm still worried. But if you brought two midfielders in, you would have to go out and get an Elliot Anderson and an Adam Wharton, or an Elliot Anderson and a Sandro Tonali. It would have to be that calibre of midfielder, top-notch, proven, absolute Prem quality, the best that there is in this league, for us to even think that we've got enough to compete in a 60-game season. We need another one. I say, if I'm Man United right now, I'm going out, I'll look at Tonali, I'll look at Elliot Anderson, I'm looking at João Gomez. These types of players is what Manchester United need to be looking at. If you want to be sensible, I think you need three. You need three with that Prem proven quality. And I think these three are the ones for Manchester United. They give us that blend of everything, what we need, that energy, that control, that composure, which we lacked drastically last night. Strength as well. We looked quite weak last night. Joe Linton ran through our midfield like we weren't even there last night. That's disappointing. That is disappointing. Look, Casemiro performed in the first half for me, but then dropped off massively in the second. I thought Kobe was average throughout the game, and he is tired. He is blowing. He needs to be rested now. But we haven't got anyone to bring on. And thankfully, like I said, with the way that this schedule is now panning out, Manchester United don't have another game week till now from now till the end of the season. So we might just get away with this. Cass and Kobe were dominated in the middle, says Tech Mash. Saif says, players to go, Ugarte, Shaw, Dallo, Mount, Malacia, Maguire. Maguire, probably not at this point. He's going to end up getting that new deal. See what we've got. In terms of the poll we've got running right now, are you still confident United will get Champions League? 57% of you have said yes. Look, that question there is simply just asking you, are you looking at last night in isolation, or does it concern you that much that you feel like there's going to be a big drop-off now? That's what you got to look at. Michael Carrick has done more than enough to prove to me that he can get what's necessary out of these players. If he gets Champions League football, then we know the conversation's coming. But don't forget, when we were winning games, we were all talking confidently about Michael Carrick. We're talking confidently about Man United making the Champions League places. We all said, and we were all saying it in the chat, there is going to be a time when this drops off. Fortunately for Manchester United, we've managed to win a few games while we've had this drop-off and still stayed up there, which is a bonus. So really, we've gone through our bad patch now. And we got our comeuppance last night and got what we deserved last night. And like I said on my reaction to that game, well done Newcastle, first of all. Credit to them. And they showed last night the energy levels that are necessary to compete in the Premier League at the top. How they haven't throughout this season is beyond me. But again, that could be a point proven there that, yes, United have turned up into town and Newcastle raised their game. Let's see what Newcastle do at weekend against Man City, because I think they'll get battered by Man City at weekend. That was the Lord Mayor show last night. The reaction, get everyone in and around it again, and let's go for it. Let's take Man United down. They gave absolutely everything and deserved it last night, but that was in isolation, Newcastle. But that's what teams are going to do to Manchester United. Look at Newcastle's form this season with European football. It's another point in the bracket there of needing a big squad. And if you don't have a big squad, you cannot compete and sustain a challenge for Champions League football within the Premier League season. You need a big squad. Otherwise, you're done. Villa is struggling now with injuries. Newcastle are struggling with injuries. Their drop-off is clear. Even with beating us last night, they're still 12 points behind us. That shows you how far they have fallen. But at the same time, it shows you that any team in this league can beat anyone at any time. Who'd have thought that Nottingham Forest would have got a draw at Man City last night? Arsenal scraping results. Who'd have thought that Villa would have been battered at home by Chelsea, who hadn't won the previous 3? Anything can happen at any time in this Premier League. What you know about your own team and how Manchester United performed over the past, I think, is the bigger concern, because that was very similar to what we've seen before. But all I would say is, let's just see what happens against Villa, and let's see if Manchester United come back from it, because this is Carrick's first test now, first real test. The form has dipped, performances have been off, and we've now lost our first game. It's took, obviously, 8 of them before we've done it. I would have took it. Someone said to me, Michael Carrick's first 8 games in charge, 6 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat with the teams that we had to play. I'd have gone, yeah, please. And let's not forget, where we have come with Michael Carrick is also the most important thing to remember. We're 3rd in the league. Right now, 29 games gone, Man United are 3rd in the league. We need to just remember that as well and use that to try and balance this argument as much as we can. I know I've just made a big point about the squad not being good enough, but I've also made the point at the same time by saying we don't have another game week, double game week now till the end of the season. That's it. 1 game a week at max now all the way through, and the gaps are massive. So the fitness should just about. Didn't look like we carried any injuries off the pitch last night, so we should have a fully fit squad coming into the game against Aston Villa. Let's see if Leach is fit. Let's see if Mason Mount's come back. I will give up completely if them players aren't back. On them players, that is, not on Man United. But I will give up completely on Leach and Mason Mount if they're not fit for that game against Aston Villa in nearly 2 weeks' time. That's it for me. I'm done with that. When we need them, they're not there. And this is more than enough time for Manchester United to come out and say these are minor injuries. It's not that bad, nothing to be concerned about. But then stories to come out saying that they're recovering well and they're well on track. What do you mean well on track? They were supposed to be back within 2 weeks. Not happening. So no, I've lost patience with them injured players now. Not their faults, of course, but we need them right now. And if they're not available, then we can't get behind them. Simple. If that loss against Newcastle is the first in all of those games Carrick has had, the only conclusion is a positive for me. Yeah, look, the form is the best in the league still. Simple as that. And everyone can beat anyone in this league. United have just taken advantage of that moment and put themselves in the picture. And now we have to fight it out till the end. I get what people are saying, though. The concerning signs there last night, weren't they, with the performance? And we're just hoping that we do get over it quicker. Because if we beat, like the last time we had this drop-off, obviously we lost to West Ham. So we drew with West Ham and then we had to wait 2 weeks before we played again. We got the win against Everton. We got the win against Palace. They weren't great, but it's 2 wins. And all that matters now at this stage of the season is grinding out them wins. And we couldn't do it last night, which was really disappointing, especially against 10 men. Really disappointing. But look, how do we bounce back? Let's get more and more comments in. I want to get your thoughts on this, everybody. It's a lot of content to get through over that 1 game last night. It was a busy day yesterday. Thank you, everyone who was part of the shows yesterday as well. It was a good old long day, and just spoilt by the result in the end. And thanks again, everyone who took part in the prediction game. Later on this evening, I will announce the winners of the OK Jerseys giveaway from that game as well. And by the way, we had a FUTV winner actually win 25 grand on the Big Up prediction game yesterday. 25 grand winner. That was amazing. Best part of the night last night was actually being able to tell someone in the community that they had just won 25k. That doesn't happen often. It doesn't. So absolutely made up with that. Right, let's get into some of these comments, everyone. Please pop a like on the video as well, everyone. We've won a few. We win together and we lose together. We suffer as a community and a Man United fan base, don't we? So get in there, give the video a like if you think United can bounce back from this. I might be teeing that up for a fall there, actually. Martinez amount should be sold in the summer. Sick of injury-prone players, says Leo. Mark says, we will get top 5, in my opinion. Not bothered about the placements. Central midfield recruitment and squad overhaul is needed. Subs were poorly timed as well. Mark having a little bit of a jab there at the way that United managed the game under Carrick. I get it. I understand people's thoughts on that. Adam, why do they need rest with 1 game a week? Will we no chance if we play 2 games a week? I think I just described that, mate, to be honest. It shouldn't be on. Man United not being able to handle 2 games a week is not good enough. And rest is the only thing that's probably going to help us right now. I'm looking how we get through to the end of the season, really. That's all I'm saying. I'm not using it as an excuse. I'm not saying that this is right. It is wrong. You are right on that one. We won't survive next season. And that's what I'm saying. We won't survive next season unless there is massive investment in this squad. And 2 midfielders ain't going to cut it. I'm telling you that right now. There was lots of angry people in the chats today. Interesting house goals when playing wouldn't even look / talk to the media, and now he's and now he's an authority on everything. I'll talk about more of that. I'll talk more about that later on. Yeah, James, thanks for reminding me. Beyond the Strand was the big up name that won the 25k. Hopefully he comes forward and claims that today. That will be great. For me, Sesko better off the bench. Fluid front 3, interchanging through the game. Add Sesko as a striker. It changes the dynamic. It gives the defenders more to think of when they're tired. Those are Carrick's options. Sesko deserved his starts. We can't say he didn't. He did deserve it, but unfortunately last night, the rest of the team around him, I thought, were more at fault. Sesko couldn't get into the game. Really disappointing. Yeah, by the way, the winner of the money Beyond the Strand has actually got that money. We're just hoping he checks his accounts and then we can actually talk to him and actually congratulate him properly face to face. The money is already there for him. So I'll make that clear for everyone. If you are entering the game, it is automatically put into your account on Big Up, and then you can obviously withdraw it whenever you want. I would just like to speak to him, would be better, to be honest. What happens if Villa win the Europa League and finish in the top 5? Would there be an extra place in the Champions League for the Prem? No, there wouldn't. Still 5. I think that's how it works. If Villa finished out of the top 5 and won the Europa League, then there would be 6 Premier League teams in it. And that's what happened last season. It was a top 5 and Spurs won the Europa League. And that's why there's 6 teams. It will only be 5. The max will be 6, simply because of coefficient and somebody winning the Europa League, which gives you automatic entrance into the Champions League. So no, there won't be an extra place. So we've got to hope that Villa are fully concentrated on the Europa League, and that's their avenue in, and United take that 5th spot. Newcastle looked fitter than us. United wasn't that bad that we couldn't kill the game with Mbeumo chance. We could have killed the game with Mbeumo chance, Agate chance, Lenio chance. But we still must learn from this. The performance overall was garbage. Like moments in that game. That game was exactly what it was against Crystal Palace and Everton. We just didn't put the ball in the net this time. We didn't take the opportunity. And for Newcastle, they had something a bit better about them than both Everton and Crystal Palace did against us. So that's how it is. That's how it is. Anyway, moving forward, just a quick one as well. I did promise you that we would have the members stream as well today. So if you are a member of the channel, we are running this in a few minutes' time. We've got about 5 minutes left, and then we're just going to be running this into a members-only stream as well. So things will be wrapped up very shortly here on the stream. So get your comments in now. Just a little bit of something back for the members as well. So please stick around if you are. And we'll do a bit of a Q&A after this stream as well. Almost at 200 likes, which is a positive. It is a positive. We still got some positivity in the air amongst the Man United fans, which is always good. We will beat Villa we'll beat Villa for sure. Say whatever you want, says Brandon. I hope we do, mate. I hope we do. And I've always said that Man United just need to win their home games now, and from now until the end of the season. That's all that matters for us. Getting them home wins in the bag is what is important now. That puts us on 16, even if we lose every single away game, which I don't think we will. Concentrate on winning these home games. Yes. By the way, Joshua Zirkzee's performance and that effort that he had on goal last night. I thought Zirkzee was good last night when he came on the pitch. I thought he had a real good impact. And you know what? He could be a weapon for us. He could be a weapon for us. I mean, you could always drop Joshua Zirkzee in late in the game if you need to maybe drop Bruno back in midfield. Again, don't want to do that, but we're working with what we've got here. I think when Zirkzee came on, he gave Newcastle an awful lot to think about in that game. And unfortunately, Ramsdale was at it last night and he played an absolute worldie again, like a lot of goalkeepers do when they're up against Manchester United, unfortunately. But Joshua Zirkzee deserves a little bit of praise for his performance last night in that game. Leo, welcome back to the Members Club, my man. I love that. Thank you very much. Like I said, we are moving across to a members show around about 3 minutes time, everyone. So let's get a few more comments in before we go there. If there was a loss to take, I would take this one. This was always going to be a difficult game away. 9 games, 7 wins, 1 draw. I am happy we can regroup and start again. Hopefully that is the case, Man United rule. Thank you for that comment. And yeah, I honestly, I'm going to do an extra piece, and someone mentioned it with Skulls before there. I'm going to do an extra piece on Adam FC later on. I'm sick to death. I'm livid with these former players now fuming. It's like, shut up. I'll talk more about that later. And like I said, watch that video that I've got coming up on former Man United players that are available. Sorry, former Man United players that I've got a massive opinion on Michael Carrick at the moment. I don't get it, is all I'm saying. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And if you have got an opinion on that, then tune in to Adam FC a little bit later on, and we'll be talking about that in detail. It's just annoying, isn't it? Patsy says in the chat, I've seen a lot of blame being put on Lamens. I don't agree. Who is blaming Lamens, by the way? I didn't see that, Patsy, but if you have seen that, you have my permission to go in on them people and just give their heads a bit of a shake, because no one should be having a go at Senna Lamens on this. And if anyone is, then I seriously question what you are watching at the moment and how you're viewing the game. I really do. And make sure you do subscribe to Adam FC, everybody, as well. My other channel, if you want to get my behind-the-scenes footage, my sort of off the cuff and candid camera type of content as well. We do a lot more reaction to everything else that's going on in football as well on there. So do subscribe to that channel also, please, everybody. Right. Moving into the last moment, Jem says he's woken up and deleted that Insta post now, probably because he's getting a backlash. Oh, well, too late. I'm already going to talk about it. Hey, look, if he's deleted it, then he might have realised that it wasn't good PR. That's it. The link for Adam FC is now in the live chat, everybody, in there. So make sure that you do go and give it a subscribe, and I'll catch you on there in a little bit, of course. All that's left for me to say now is thank you again, everybody. Last night was fun, even though we lost. Great day's content yesterday. Really appreciate all of the support on the channel. And again, that goes to the members. I'm going to be jumping across now to a members only stream as well, just to finish off. We've already done around about 50 minutes here. And yeah, I do think that it is worth remembering that. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you all in a moment on the members stream.